Hello and welcome to another Wargame Red Dragon video with me, Bubblebox, and Silveraptor. Although it's only me commentating, we're on the map. I think this is 38th parallel, and we're continuing the Bubble and Silveraptor Do Decks series with this 4v4. This time I'm playing the Japanese deck. The link, we did a couple of videos, one on the Japanese and one on the South Koreans, and Silveraptor is going to be playing the South Koreans, me the Japanese. We're also joined by Thoth. I'm not sure what deck he's playing. We'll have a look at that later on. Tactical Bacon was in the game, but he actually just quit just before the game started, so we're down to 3 players and we're playing against Red Fox, Viper, Bob Latterfall and Moose. So I'm playing the Japanese deck. I'm starting off with some of these really nice arrows, anti-air units. I've got the short arrows that have got their really nice accuracy but fairly short range, and the closed arrows with the short range and a very good accuracy, and the short arrows with the much longer range against helicopters but with the less of an accuracy. So I'm sending those two up in groups of 2, sending some ATGM infantry because I'm going up to Charlie, and I'm going to try to get some units over into Bravo as well. I'm taking a few mortars with me. All my mortars, in fact, because I remember from the last game I did this map that we ended up getting bogged down in a fight for Bravo. I'm sending over a ninja for recon and a heli, commanding a heli as well, and some infantry, and we'll see if we can land in Bravo and take that at the beginning. Silveraptor has got his South Korean units. We'll have a look at them as the game progresses, but he's sending in, I think, a lot of militia units. I think he got the militia, I'm not quite sure. We'll have to look at them when they unload, but lots of infantry and some anti-air infantry as well. As well as some of these. Are these cheap tanks? Oh, there's these very cheap tankette type things that he got. So he's sending 3 of those over. It's only 30 points. And some K200s with some more infantry in. And what type of command has he got? A little armoured truck. He's heading up to Echo to try to take control of all of these buildings over on the south of the river at Echo. Thoth is going up and sort of trying to secure the right hand side. We haven't got anyone really going to the middle to Hotel at the moment or to Alpha, although Thoth's sending a CV there mainly because Tactical Bacon was going to do that, and he suddenly quit at the last minute. So let's get the game underway. So I'll be heading up over to Bravo to try and establish a bridgehead there. Turned into be quite a nice game, this one indeed. Thoth is doing an airborne support, airborne attack over to Juliet by looks of things. Probably going to try and stack his units in these buildings over here. Hopefully we'll get some units into these buildings. There's a J5 there. You'll see a lot of them in this game. This guy who's got a load of those J5s, napalm bombers, and in his deck. So the first thing I spot is 2 big coolers. Now there's no way these KV-107s with their miniguns are going to take on coolers. So I have to try, before they get into range, spin them round, especially saving my ninja as well, and get those guys out of there. You can see the cooler just got a shot, but it just managed to take a few health points out, but I managed to get them micro back because there's no way these coolers will waste those guys. But his coolers do spot my short arrows and start to micro them back, because these short arrows will devastate those Akulas with their 3,300 meter range. In the meantime, Silveraptor's got some rocket artillery, and he's just artillering their positions over at the north of Echo so that he can get his units in here and unloaded. They've got plenty of recon there, so they know exactly what Silveraptor's got round and about here and what he's placing in the buildings. In the meantime, they've managed to get some units on the ground here from this Mi-24D, these Spetsnaz recon squads. I do move my units forward again now because these short arrows are getting into position, and one took out the KA-29, but the Akulas took out my ninja, unfortunately. But I've got a short arrow coming in and manages to take out the chopper here, but the Akulas are doing me a lot of damage. I really want to get those Akulas down because they are devastating my push into Bravo, which they have taken control of. Now I do unload my infantry and just try to micro them behind into the forest, before they get taken out. He's bringing some Schwetzers back into the action as well, which are shooting at my choppers also. And looks like a bunch of infantry that he's going to try and unload into these buildings. The Akulas are still firing, but now my arrows are in position and take shots at his Akulas, take one out, and the other Akula goes down as well. So I was well glad to get rid of those 2 Akulas from the game early on. I keep going forward with my short arrows, which may have been a mistake because they unload 4 Conkers squads here and managed to get them into the building, and those Conkers immediately open up on my arrows and take my arrows out. In the meantime, I've got my artillery pounding into this building, managed to take out a couple of their Conker squads and the Schwetzers as well. But yeah, quite the little tussle at the start there. I've got some shoe mats up as well, which I've unloaded, and I keep pounding with the my artillery there, my mortars as well. In the meantime, there's not a lot happening on the rest of the map. It was all me and this guy Viper at the start there. You can see where all the points have gone. It's kind of on as even there, although I have managed to keep a few units in Bravo, and I keep hammering away with my mortars into Bravo. Silveraptor has managed to get all of his infantry unloaded. A lot of these Jägerbund militia, sort of some Habian 90s there watching the bridge here, and they've got some Milstrau anti-air, so a nice little batch of infantry in there, should be able to hold that nicely. And he's also just brought in a command I just saw to try and try to neutralise Echo. So the main battle at the moment is going on for Bravo, where I have tried to push forward as much as I can. I'll probably bring some more units in soon. In the meantime, Silveraptor is bringing up some Gong Pose with the little Browning machine guns. I think they're just going to be used just to run up to the building and see if they can do any damage. He's also brought forward a Hawk Pip 2 with its radar gun turned off currently to try and support me against any attacks from planes. Why these units have gone back into their Nanashikis I don't know, but I'll soon unload them again. And Silveraptor runs his little 10-point, are they 10-point? Yeah, his little 10-point trucks up towards this building on a bit of a suicide mission probably. Oh no, they're turning. Give me a little bit of support. Not the best things in the world. They've got some little machine guns on the back, but better than nothing. And you can see the mortars still taking out units in these buildings, which I know are packed full of infantry. So that's as we stand. So Thoth's managed to take nice control over on the right hand side. He's going to get these units hopefully into the buildings. He's taken a bit of a napalm strike there by the looks of things, possibly a Buratino. They are getting quite a lot of points. They have got this 8-point zone in the middle, but they haven't decided not to take Delta. Thoth managed to get a command onto the left here. They do start bringing in some bombers now. MiG-29. That is, I think that's a cluster bomber, is it? Yep, that's clusters. Going for, what are they going for? Oh, I've actually managed to micro my stuff out of there. They're actually going for my mortars, which I've managed just to pull out of the way in time. My Kayu Marushiki, though, which is one of my decent tanks, is getting hammered by all these ATGMs and actually goes down. I'm not sure whether they got a side shot into my, or whether I was actually didn't back it up. Yeah, I didn't back it up. I just ran it away and it got a shot into the back with an ATGM and exploded. So there's a lesson to learn. Always back your units up. Don't just run them away. If I'd have thought, if I'd played this again, I would of course have backed them up behind the forest, not out into the open. But I continue the barrage with the mortars in the hope that I can bring some units in and start attacking this little group of houses, because until this is gone, we're not going to be able to advance into this open area with tanks and such like. So Silveraptor's being kept an eye on by these two MI2s, so they're not going to be having, and they've probably got a bunch of infantry in these buildings as well. And Thoth over here on the right hand side is having kind of a little bit of a battle with these guys. They're trying to encroach across the bridge here, but he's got some ATGM units here that's going to put a stop to that, I would think. Right up the bridge, boom, right in the face. So UBA 40s, quite nice little infantry there. Oh, no, actually no, they're the militia. Oh, sorry, I got them mixed up. They're the militia, so they're not very good infantry. They're going to get taken out. It's got an AMX 10P autocannon here as well, which is taking shots with that ATGM. Should stop this push across the bridge easily. So in the meantime, over at Bravo, I'll bring forward some infantry in a little HMV. I brought these in a little bit earlier. I keep them running though just to see if they can actually what's left in these buildings. And I'm bringing up another Nana Yonshiki, a little tank with which can fire frag grenades as well, so we can give our infantry a little bit of support hopefully if we run into some of their infantry. So I am lacking a bit in AA. I've got a couple of short arrows now. Oh, actually, oh no, I'm not. I've got 4 short arrows at the back here, so not too bad, although they're not as close as I would like to the front line. They're a little bit back, but I can't really run them across the bridge and afford to chance losing those again. So in the meantime, Silveraptor's still reinforcing into Echo, and he's also bringing in some units here, you can see in these K200s, to try to assault this building with me. My Kutai 90s managed to get into the front of this building but run immediately into 4 VDVs, which are probably more than a match for 10 Kutai 90s. Although they're not the VDV 90s. In the meantime, there's a rocket plane coming in, attacking. I don't know what it's attacking. I think it's attacking my short arrows, but 4 short. Does it get away? I'm not sure how that MiG-25BM got away, but it did. And I'd start to mortar just this recon. I don't like having recon choppers looking at me, so I'll just bang a few mortars over there and destroy that. Meantime, Thoth just keeping them at bay as they continually to probe across this river. Not sure where that Crowtail's going. I pull my Kutai 90s back because they were onto a loser there, and just cover their retreat with my mortars. I've also brought up a couple of Chumats, these ATGM, nice ATGM units that the Japanese have got. Just tried to get them up into the corner. There's those VDVs. That was spotted by my OH Ninja, but this is my second OH Ninja. The first one got shot down, so I brought in another OH Ninja to try and keep an eye on the battlefield over Bravo. In the meantime, looks like a Buratino going in, attacking the units in Echo of Silveraptor, so take a bit of punishment, but these are only, remember, these are quite cheap, these militia units, although he has got some Habion 90s in there as well, which are more expensive. Oh, he's got some Gombyongs in there also. So they're burning away, but they should be okay. Meanwhile, just continuing to hammer, waiting for reinforcements. I'm brought in a Chugata with a little recon squad, which I'm going to put into Alpha, and Thoth looks like he might be putting some units over on the left there to try and do a little flanking maneuver across the river. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Okay. Looks like Silveraptor's got some of these little tanks. Oh, sorry, no, there is Sugong Pos, aren't they? Meanwhile, Silveraptor's infantry have arrived, and they're probably going to attack up into Bravo. I'm getting my Shumats into the corner here. So we've still got a little bit of a bridgehead, but it's still really need to take these buildings if we're going to do a push up into Bravo. Anywhere else, it looks like it's pretty much covered all the way around. So this is the only real opportunity to go forward, although Thoth's going to try up on the left here as well by the looks of it. So Silveraptor's KM200s are going in with his infantry. Mortars go in and smoke just to cover his advance. So hopefully he'll unload and enter the building at the front. Oof. That was a cluster bomber by the looks of it, but of course cluster bombers don't do anything against infantry, and his infantry survive nicely and get themselves into the front building. I've brought some infantry as well, some decent infantry. His are these Yebiguns again, these little militia, and he's up against VDVs, so militia against VDVs. The Yebiguns will probably lose normally, but I've brought in some nice Kutai 90s, and these Kutai 90s along with these Yebiguns should dispatch of these VDV 30s fairly easily. I've brought my closed arrows up as well because once we start taking this, I no doubt they'll probably send a couple of bombers in. So we just bring in my short arrows forward just to counter that if that happens. They do actually bring an Mi-20, and as I predicted, they bring a Viper in straight away, MiG-25BM with rockets. And is it going to get taken out? Yes, it does indeed. So the HMVs are supporting with a bit of machine gun fire. They've got a few Igglers, but they're not going to be a problem. They've got some BTRDs coming in with more infantry. Sam's short arrows are in a good position now as Thoth brings his Panthers that he did have on the left there. Looks like he's had a rethink and he's bringing them into the middle now to support our attack into Bravo. So it looks like everyone's getting in on the action in Bravo now. So Thoth's landing his Panthers to give us a bit more infantry support, so we should easily take these buildings now as my HMVs just advance forward, try to take out the rest of these guys, and the Panthers finish off the VDVs, and one of their players leaves at that point. So it's 3 against 3 now. Looks like Silveraptor's blocks flying quite deep into enemy territory. He's got to be really careful there. Yeah, ATG, this looks like man pads, and there's a buck back there as well. And he manages to evac it, or does he? Yes, that just manages to get out. That went quite deep there. There's an Mi-28 sitting just there that we've got to be careful of as well. I do bring my closed arrow up. I'm going to try and put it in these little bushes here where these fern spars of Thoth are going, just to keep these choppers at bay, and my OH Ninja just keeping an eye on them as well. So a good little push there into these buildings gives us the opportunity now to bring some tanks up and to try and take this little area of trees before we hit Echo and hopefully their base. On this side they have managed to encroach into our area with a little flanking manoeuvre of their own, but Thoth's countering there with a couple of Leclercs. He's got an AMX-30B, should be able to dispatch of these units quite easily as long as he brings some, he's got some Raphael, I was going to say, as long as he's got some air cover as well. Meanwhile they bring in a couple of BMPTs, probably to counteract all of our infantry, but in the meantime I've brought in another one of these big Q Marishikis, these big tanks, 170 point tanks with a lot of armour and a nice accuracy and stabilizer as well. I've brought 2 of them in, and when we see these BMPTs I just run these forwards. We've got short arrow support as well. I don't want them to come into range of our short arrows and take out our short arrows, so we run forward. We've got our Shumats here as well firing at the BMPTs, as well as these 2 big tanks. There's an AMX-30B of Thoth moving in on the action as well, so we should, despite these BMPTs having very good front armour, these Kayu Marushiki here have got side shots I think probably on them and should take them out. In fact they go down. I'm not sure that was to a Kayu Maru or to the Shumat. So we take out those 2 BMPTs. I did unfortunately lose my 2 short arrows, which leaves us a bit short of anti-air again, especially as these ones are out of ammo yet again. Have brought also a couple of these attack choppers forward, these multi-role attack choppers. As the MI, for some reason the MI-28 comes forward, they probably think all my AA's down because they've taken this out, but they didn't realise or maybe they didn't know that this OH Ninjas carry 4 infrared missiles, anti-air missiles, and managed to take out that Mi-28. Looks like we've got some Mistrals here as well, managed to take out that last chopper there. So I'll bring up some resupply. We need to resupply these anti-air and buff up these infantry a little bit. And these J5s, these little napalm bombers, make an appearance. And this guy loves these J5s. He uses them a lot. And you can see they're actually napalming just in front of the forest. The Silveraptor brings in a fighter, not an expensive one, so he is flying it around over their base. What is it? Oh, it's 75 points to try and attack these J5s. They don't seem to have a lot of AA attacking this fighter plane of Silveraptors, but they do manage to get their napalm off. I think we took a couple of the J5s down as they were on their mission. So now I need to resupply stuff and then bring forward probably some more AA. and a few more tanks we can push forward in. But however, Thoth's taking initiative here. He's pushing forward with an AMX-10P, really cheap little armoured, well in fact they're little vehicles with little auto cannons. He's pushing them forward, and he's following it up with an AMX-30B tank, which also has an auto cannon and a little heat round gun as well. Well, that's been stunned going through the napalm, and I try to support him. I bring forward my 2 big tanks and my short arrows. Although I don't like pushing forward this little amount of AA cover, but I did want to try and support Thoth really. And you can see a J71 is going to drop its bombs. I'm not sure what happened there. But the short arrows are doing their best. The MiG-29 comes in. That goes down. But it looks like we've managed to push them out, completely out of Bravo now. There's another BMD there, goes down to the big tank. A robot, that should go down. We've got my attack chopper coming in as well. So it looks like we've pushed them right out of Bravo now. Silveraptors brought up a K1 and a couple of Tiger Haps, which will help us with our air superiority, as they do carry these nice Mistral missiles as well as do rocket pods. They're bringing forward some very cheap tanks. These are just not gonna do the job for them against these Kaiyu Marishikis. And I've also got my attack choppers here firing away. They're just going to go right down. They're really cheap, very poorly armoured tanks. Yeah, they immediately get taken out. So I start to bring everything forward. I've brought up 2 more short arrows. And I'm resupplying back here all these infantry and everything, just to try and bring them forward as soon as they're resupplied. Silveraptor's bringing up another one of these 75-point fighters, as Thoth goes forward with this little cheap chopper on a bit of a suicide mission. You can see it hasn't even got any armaments, but he's just pushing it forward just to get us a view of what they've got over in this area. As my tank continues to go forward, it's getting attacked by these J5s, which gets taken out by my short arrows. But I've got to be careful. If you push your tanks too far forward without air cover, they're going to get taken out. There's a robot there which managed to get the first shot off. Silveraptor's got his K1 next door. He's also starting to attack them into Echo by the looks of things, firing in with some rocket artillery to try and soften them up. They are still responding with a lot with planes and cheap tanks and some choppers coming in on the action as well. And my Kaiyu Marishiki is under a lot. Oh, it's going to get hit. And they've got a lot of ATGM choppers firing at my Marishiki. Woo! Down to 1 health. That K1's going to go down, but it might save my Marishiki. Yeah, the K1 unfortunately didn't get pulled back. My arrows are doing their best to catch up with my tank push. What it's worth. It's not really a tank push anymore because all my tanks are dead, although I've still got this guy here. So we have to just pull back a little bit there and just wait, because we're not going to be able to run our tanks into these ATGM choppers. So that was a crazy 5 minutes. Again, the J5s come in as they keep coming in. There's a little napalm. They'd been much better off with like anti-tank planes, but they're going to get taken out by these short arrows. The worst thing for me is it uses up all the ammo on my short arrows on cheap planes, but mustn't complain. And it looks like Silveraptor's has smoked this whole area now, and is going to try and go over the bridge with some infantry in the get the words out, in these little tanks with 10 points, worth 10 points. But he has stopped for some reason. Or he's sending a Sabre in first to have to go, and then he's pushing forward. These are amphibious, I think. Yep, so sending a couple in across the water. The rest are going to go in across the bridge. Hopefully they'll be able to get across and unload before they're attacked. Let's see what happens. Ooh! They took one for the team there. Wow. Okay. That, I think it's these VDVs here with their rocket-propelled grenades. He does manage to get a number of his infantry out though. Start moving forwards and try and get into the buildings. Having 90s as well, decent infantry against 9 VDVs. They might just do the job there. Oh, there's some more VDVs over here though, and that J5's back again with the napalm. I'm going to drop it right on the bridge. Is it? Or did it get its... Oh, actually it's dropped here. Okay. So the having 90s has just got these VDVs to deal with. It's getting nice support from these trucks and these little cheap tanks on this side now. Just 10-point tanks, but they're doing a good job here. He has brought in another stack of infantry, but they've run into a bit of a roadblock here. That's a shame because they can't get through. He unloads them, but because they can't get through, they're slightly sitting ducks to the rocket-propelled grenades. Okay. Oh, what a shame. That's just because that road was blocked. Otherwise they would have been in the building. But he's still got some more Yebling 90s attacking the VDVs. He's got these tanks supporting. They've still got quite a lot. They've got this T-64BM here being a pain in the ass. In the meantime, over the north of Bravo, we are still trying to move forward. Thoth's brought his couple of Leclercs in, ATGMs. I'm just managed to bring in a load of resupply logistics and just buffing everything up before we continue forward. I have brought my shoe mats forward just to try and take out these anti-tank gun, these really nice anti-tank gun vehicles here with this very, very long range. As soon as you get your tanks near them, they'll get attacked. But I do bring up my mortars to try to manage to take one out there and stun a lot as well. So once they're out of the way, we can probably begin our tank push again. I'm not sure why my short arrows are going that far forward. Got to be a little bit careful. And Silveraptor's Happy 90s have managed still doing battle with these VDV and 90s here. A bit more napalm has been laid down there by the enemy, and you can see that Silveraptor's bringing in a whole load more infantry now to try to take them out of the north of Echo. So the tank push goes on. So we've managed to stun or get rid of those ATGM vehicles. So we push forward with our tanks. They've only got these cheap ZTSs again to hold us back, and they're just not up to the job. I've got my attack chopper coming in. Got Kutai 90 infantry moving forward, as well as 3 nice tanks. 3 very nice tanks. There's those J5s again. They're just not going to do it against the tanks, unfortunately. I'll bring forward my short arrows. Now they're being refueled. I'm hoping Thoth will respond and bring his Leclercs forward quite shortly. There's a Buratino. Now when you do a big advance and you come across Buratinos and things like anti-air and bucks, you know you've pretty much rolled your enemy because you're basically right into their defensive line. So I do continue to push forward with my tanks, although I've got to try and keep these short arrows up with the push. Now I don't know how far back Silveraptor's trucks are. They're still quite a long way. We'll have a look at them when they arrive. But his Abian 90s have just about managed to defeat those VDVs. They've got 1 man left out of their 15-man squad. But the tanks are going forward and just picking up everything they see. Now the short arrows have managed to catch up with the tank push, so we should be okay against any choppers. And just as I speak, a hot comes into view. 4 of them in fact. And the Leclercs start their move forward from Thoth as well. So I need to get these short arrows into position to have a go at these hots, because they're going to try and take out my tanks. I do push forward my tanks and my short arrows, and they should. There's 1 hot down. The biggest danger is that the short arrows are going to run out of missiles, but they're doing a good job so far. I've lost 1 tank there on the right. That was probably to one of those hot missiles, but I don't want to stop pushing now. I want to keep going. If I can get those choppers out of the way, I'll bring my mortars in on the action as well. Still got 2 short arrows with ammo. I just need to get rid of these 2 hots. I think that one's run out of ammo, that's why it stopped firing. Again, planes coming in. Slight sign of desperation. This Kiyu Marushiki is pretty much dead now, so I'd start to pull that one back, keep that one going forward. Oh, these are rocket planes, and that's what they should have brought out in the first place. So my push is nearly just about had it. I'm out of anti-air missiles. My tanks are dead. We've got these 2 Leclercs sitting here now. So I've got my attack choppers coming in as well. Although my actual push is petering to a stop there. a little bit. Now, Silveraptor's managed to get his infantry back over the bridge yet again. Managed to get past this big roadblock on the bridge. He has run into this bloody T-62B, but Thoth is sneaking up behind it and should take this thing out and help Silveraptor out a little bit, so Silveraptor can take control of Echo and find their command. In the meantime, one of my attack choppers has gone down, although I think it's done some damage to the enemy. I bring forward my ninja, take some shots at that J-71. My ninja's getting a bit far forward. Whole bunch of artillery coming in. Okay, I just need to hold myself there. I hope I do. More attack choppers, just to stop them pushing back on all my units. My units are very damaged, and they've finally managed to I think take out some of my mortars with their artillery. In the meantime, Silveraptor's got nice control over Echo now. Sorry I missed that. He has taken out their command. He's got a load of these Habian 90s into the buildings, and Echo is fully ours, and he continues these K200s just rolling forward. There's nothing in them anymore. They're only worth 10 points. Just keep them rolling forward, do some damage, spot their units for the other units to shoot at. Very nice. In the meantime, my attack chopper's doing a lot of damage, and Silveraptor's continuing to roll forward with these little K200s with their little machine guns, and it's going to run into this chopper, which it should be able to shoot down. Surely. Or there's a big plane coming in there, going to bomb them perhaps. Takes out his little friend behind there. Oh! Takes a side shot. Takes an ATGM in the side. So I'll keep going forward as much as I can. Now unfortunately I'm going to have to stop to resupply my short arrows in Silveraptor's CH-47D, which is kindly bought out. And then we can go forward again. This J-71, just a little anti-air unit. I don't know where it's going. It's actually doing a strafing run. I'm not sure what those J-71s are actually. So it looks like the action's all about getting golf now. There's a couple of sabres coming in from Silveraptor. Are they going for these ZTZ? I'm not sure what they're going for. Tank chasseurs. Yeah, there's a PGZ flat gun there. Takes one out. Oh, that's going to be close. I think that one just about makes it. So my Kiyomari Shiki is back up to full strength, so I start bringing that forward again. My short arrows have been resupplied, so we can start going forward yet again. I wish Thoth would bring his Leclercs forward. Hopefully he will shortly. I'm hoping this Kiyomari Shiki will spot a few things, and there's a nice 70-point vehicle goes down there. More cheap ZTZs, and then a bunch of Mirages come in from Thoth, full of napalm and bombs, just to make a bit mess of things. And I bring in a whole load of Kyoko napalm bombers, these really cheap napalm bombers. They're not the best napalm bombers, but I did spot that there's not a lot of AA around, so I bring in a whole load of these just to drop their payload pretty much all over the place at random. I do use a couple because they bring out these Su-27s, these really nice anti-air fighters, but it was definitely worth it. I kind of tried to bomb as much of the forest and the buildings as I can, and you can see Thoth's hammered into here as well, and then brings forward his Leclercs at last, and the little J5s come back out for another. So it looks like Thoth, is that Thoth? That's Thoth that's got the tigers, the tiger haps, and the tiger, yeah, he's going forward now with his Leclerc. Should take out this J5, the short arrows nicely. Again, they're running out of ammo yet again. Got some ZTZs, cheap tanks coming up here on the right. My Kutai 90s should get some shots off at them, and hopefully the Tiger Haps can take some shots. More J7s coming out just to try to slow down our push, but the short arrows should get most of them down. One goes down. Are we going to get any more? Oh, those short arrows are out of ammo yet again. Just need those haps just to turn around and deal with these. Hopefully. Looks like a Silveraptor's firing in some artillery. Some nice rocket artillery from Silveraptor just to try and soften up. If we can take out the command in their base, that leaves them with no more reinforcement points. I've got another Kyo Marushiki, so it was good having 2 sets of 3 of these in my deck in the end. If you have a look back at the deck building video, me and Silveraptor had a bit of a discussion about the Kyo Marushikis, whether to bring in like vetted ones or bring in the lower ones. So I have kind of used them all in this game, so kind of worked out in the end. So Thoth's pushing forward now with his Tiger Haps and his Leclercs. J7s keep popping out. This guy must have so many of those things. I bring up my Kyokos again, coming in for another bombing run. Kyo, that J7 gets hit. Kyokos get their bombs off. Again, bring out the Su-27s just as expected. I'll lose another 1 or 2 Kyokos. But it's just a matter of finding their CVs. I did manage to napalm Thoth's Leclerc. But hey, never mind. He is actually bombing the back of these buildings now with his Mirage napalm planes. Those Su-27s doing quite a good job. Bit of a last stand, but they're doing okay. My tanks are still moving forward. We found the command, so those Kyo Marushiki should deal with the command infantry no problem. And that's the end for them really. Golf's down. So it's just a matter of finding their last couple of commands. So it was quite a nice little game. I'll bring in my planes yet again. In fact, this time I brought in a load of fighters. I think I just brought them in for the hell of it at the end, just to fly over their base. And in the end, I think they do attack they're very cheap. They're really anti-helicopter fighters, and just attack this Z9A. Here we go. Beautiful. 90 points. Just mopping up the enemy now. More cheap tanks. Managed to grab a fob there. So they've got 2 more commands. One in India and one in Kilo. I can't remember if they quit or whether we actually got their commands. Looks like Silveraptor's bringing in some K1A1s to have a look in India. And he's pushing forward his Happy 90s, of course. Flying over his block as well. I'm not sure if they've got anti-air over there, actually, so they've got to be a little bit careful. Oh, actually, he must have spotted something. Ooh, got to be a bit careful. Is this going to get out? Ooh, gets taken out. What a shame. That's it. GG. So, pretty decent game. Showed the Japanese tanks off quite well as those beautiful short arrows that go along with the tank pushes. Silveraptor, well, he's got not a brilliant score, but I think he lost a few sort of high point planes, but he did a lot of supporting in that game, so you can't always get a good score, especially if you're playing a bit more as a support player, because often you sort of, if you're supporting with artillery and like he did with the rocket artillery and stuff, you tend to soften up the enemy, but you don't tend to kill them. So good game. Thoth played really well as well. We lost Tactical Banking at the start. So thanks to those guys. Thanks for the enemy as well for their input into the game. Thanks you guys for watching. I hope you're enjoying the Bubblebox and Silveraptor Do Deck series, and there will be more soon. Please do comment, like and subscribe if you will. I see we've just gone over the 1,000 subs, which is absolutely incredible and a fantastic New Year present for the channel. Please keep supporting, and I'll see you in the next one.